Hey there everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. Today I'm going to be showcasing products from our brand new Celebrate release. And what's really fun about today's project is we're going to do some toner foiling, but we're going to step up our backgrounds by adding some embossed details on top. This creates an added layer of dimension and texture to your project that you can use to elevate your foil designs. So I'm going to be using our brand new Diamond Circles foil transfer cards, and I'm going to be using them inside of my Mink machine, but you can also use a laminator for this. I've picked out this silver sketch foil from Brutus, Monroe, and Therm, and this is the foil I'm going to be using on my foil transfer cards. I will put my foil transfer card inside of a carrier sheet from Therm, and this is going to allow me to then easily run this through my machine. Now my Mink machine, I do find I like the heat setting of 2 for these foil transfer cards. That works really well, but 3 also works too. You'll run that through your laminator or Mink, and then after you have run it through, you're going to see you get this really great foiled transfer onto this background, which looks super amazing. I love the reflection and the fun detail with that silver sketch pattern in there. Now because we print our foil transfer cards onto Nina White cardstock, this is a great cardstock for ink blending. So I'm going to actually use our Pawsitively saturated inks to blend a nice background of color onto this transfer card. So the foil will resist the ink that you put on top, and all of the colors that I'm using today are linked below in the video description as well as on our blog. So all the products that I'm featuring today, you'll easily find them there. After I blended my colors, that left me with this really bright design which looks really nice against that foil. But what I want to show you is what to do with that leftover piece of foil that we had from making that foil transfer design. So these work great on top of other toner printed patterns. So here I'm actually going to use one of our Simon Says Stamp Color Blend cardstocks. I found that the Color Blend cardstock worked really well in transferring that leftover foil onto it. And that's going to give me this really cool look, which also allows me to use up that leftover sheet of foil that you otherwise may have thrown out. That gives me the reverse of this background, which looks super, super neat. So we have our 2 pieces, the positive and the negative, and now we have 2 backgrounds that we can use to turn into cards. Now we could use these backgrounds as is, but what if you actually ran these through with an embossing folder? And I'm using our 3D embossing folder called Flower Buds Unfolding. Check it out. When you emboss that design over top of the foiling, this makes such a cool effect, and it also intensifies that shimmer. I feel like there's a lot of relief on this embossing folder, so that's giving this really unique texture. So I will emboss both of my backgrounds, but again, if you don't like this look, you could totally leave the diamond circle pattern as is, but I just love this pattern that I get now with the embossing on top. So cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take our new Whirl butterfly die, and this is from our Celebrate release. I'm cutting it from some white gloss cardstock from our Simon Says Stamp collection, and I've die cut it, as you can see, a few times. So I have 3 butterflies on the card on the left, and then I'll have 1 butterfly that I'm creating a layered effect with for the other card. For greetings on both of these cards, I'm going to use our new reverse congratulations sentiment strips, and I'm going to glue those sentiments along with the butterflies directly onto my backgrounds using Craft Tacky Glue. Craft Tacky Glue is one of our Simon Says Stamp staple adhesives that works fantastic for pretty much anything. And it also dries clear, so if you do have any glue that might squish out the sides, you'll never notice. And that's going to give me this really nice collection of butterflies with that greeting. And then for the other card, I did want something a little bit more simple, so I decided to layer the large and the small butterfly together to create a more dimensional and more detailed butterfly. The 3 on the left are more simple, and then this one's a little bit more detailed, which I think is fun. Now the butterflies don't have a body, so I'm going to actually create a body with some gems. I thought that would be a unique look. You could also leave the butterflies without the body. It's a really nice, clean, modern look, but the gems do add an extra touch of sparkle. So these are our Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Dazzling gems, and I'm using Surf, Royal, and Taffy for the colors on the card on the left, and then I'll just use some Taffy for the butterfly on the right. And for some of the butterflies I used 3 gems, and then for the smaller ones I only used 2. I'm using my Simon Says Stamp Place and Score tool to pick these up. This has a nice strong wax tip that works really well for a heavier embellishment like these. And like I said, I was using the reverse congratulations sentiment strips for both of these cards. This one I thought it would be fun to do more of a stacked look with the greetings. So I actually picked out 3 that I thought worked really well together. I do like to color the sides of my sentiment strips with a black marker just to hide the white core of the paper, and it makes it look like these are made from black cardstock. So that gives me a really nice clean finish on these. And so I stacked those 3 greetings across the bottom of my card. And then each of these cards are going to be made as an A2 size, and my panels are a little bit smaller than an A2 card panel. So they're 4 by 5 1/4. And I pop them up with foam tape just to add a little bit of dimension. I always like the shadow that this provides. It adds a little bit more dimension, and these cards are fairly flat. Besides this layer of foam tape, everything else was glued directly onto our card, so we won't have a ton of bulk with these, so they'll be easy to mail. So that's going to complete these cards, which look amazing with that foil, but also then the embossing with our 3D embossing folder on top. This gives a completely different look to an otherwise very simple background. With the embossing, you've elevated it to a whole new level, and I think that's what's really fun about this technique. So I hope you were inspired by these cards and not only learned how to use our foil transfer cards to create really pretty backgrounds, but also got some ideas on how you can alter them to make really cool effects. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I will be back soon to share more with you all, but until then, I hope you have a very wonderful day.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.